Hi students, welcome to Plus 2 computer class. So we are going to begin a new chapter in this video. We already completed our chapter Advances in Computing in the previous video itself. So in the previous video we already seen the different aspects of computing. That means computer vision, how computer vision is different from normal vision. Then after that natural language processing, natural language understanding, and also natural language generation, how the programmers are implementing this. After that automatic speech recognition or ASR. In Google we are using this ASR for interacting, for asking for the web pages. Then bioinformatics, study of biology, geographical information system to store the information of different places. Okay, so these were we already studied or already learned from the previous video. Then in this video we are going to start a new chapter, ICT and Society. Our last chapter, plus 2 last chapter, ICT and Society. In ICT and Society we are going to discuss the common ICT service. What does mean by ICT? Information and communication technology is known as ICT. Then e-governance. What does mean by e-governance? And after that we will discuss the benefits of e-governance and also the limitations of e-governance. Okay, clear? Then nowadays internet play a major role in every field. Without internet nowadays we can't live, because all your regular procedures is based on internet. Nowadays in education also based on online education. So actually online education we require, because nowadays we are going through a pandemic situation. That's why we are having the online education. For all this internet is must. Okay, so nowadays without internet we can't go for any purposes, because all our work is based on internet. So the internet services is how helping the human beings. So there are different types of ICT services are available. We know about IT. What is IT? Information technology. Information technology is known as IT. Then actually computer science and IT both are different terms. Computer is common because computer science we are studying the theoretical aspects. In information technology we are going to discuss the application level of that topic. Then information technology or IT, but here instead of IT we are using the term ICT. ICT means information communication technology. Information communication technology. Information and communication technology or ICT. In ICT we are dealing with internet for different applications. So our chapter name is ICT and Society. So here we are going to discuss the different applications of ICT, or which are the ICT services that we are getting, or information and communication technologies, and also the services that we are getting. So the services we will discuss first. ICT services. ICT services. There are different types of ICT services are available, like e-governance, then e-learning, e-commerce. These all are different aspects of ICT. Okay, different aspects of ICT. So here in this video we are going to discuss the first ICT service of this chapter, that is called e-governance. Okay, what does mean by e-governance? E-governance is a term, or using e-governance is the application of ICT that makes all the government application to the user in an efficient manner. Okay, e-governance is an application of ICT that provides all the government services to the user in an efficient manner. So this is one of the application of ICT. Then what are the different services available on e-governance? The first service is G2G. The first service, government to government. Government to government is known as G2G. The first service provided by ICT, G2G. Second one is G2C. Okay, G2C means government to companies or government to citizens. Government to citizens. Then next one, G2B. G2B means government to business. And the last one, the most commonly used one is G2E. That means government to employees. Government to employees. So these are the different services provided by the e-governance. Government to government. Next one, government to citizens. Third one, government to business. And the last one is G2E, government to employees. Okay, so these are the commonly used ICT services of e-governance. First one is government to government. Government to government means government website is interacting. Suppose we want to get some of the information from other state. So we can ask to that particular state government, that particular place state government, and we can interact with them. So that is belonging to government communication. Then after that, government to citizens. So the important features or the different procedures we can give for the citizens. Then government to business. Government to business based on their taxes and also payroll. Then employee registration, PF details, all this belonging to G2B, business. Okay, then third one is government to employee. Employee means all the employees. Their PF details, ESI details, all this belonging to government to employees. So these are the four different services provided by the government. Government to government, then government to citizens, government to business, and government to employees. These are the important services provided by e-governance. Okay, provided by e-governance. Clear? So what does mean by e-governance? E-governance is an application of ICT that provide all the government application to the users or to the peoples in an efficient manner is known as e-governance. Example, dhsckerala.gov.in. This is an e-governance service. E-governance service means using DHSE, all the schools are using DHSE web portal for handling higher secondary students' details. For your enrollment data, your hall ticket download, then your mark, everything they are getting from DHSE. Actually, DHSE is a Kerala official, Kerala government website or e-governance. Clear? Then next one we are going to discuss the infrastructure of e-governance. Infrastructure of e-governance. Infrastructure of e-governance. Infrastructure of e-governance means how e-governance is working. So e-governance consists of three different aspects. The first one is SDC, State Data Center. State Data Center called SDC. Then next one is SWAN. SWAN means statewide WAN or statewide wide area networks. You know the definition of WAN, wide area networks. State WAN, and one more is the common data service or common data center or CDC. So these are the three terms are interconnected using infrastructure. So all these are interconnected. Interconnected means state data center means that consists of all the important data of that particular state. SDC, state data centers. Then they are having the important details relating to their Aadhaar card detail, all this belonging to state data center, or the short form is STD. Then next one is state wide area network, or called SWAN. Then CDC, common data centers. Common data centers means, example, KSEB also having website, for we can pay electricity bill using that particular website. Nowadays some of them is paying their bill through online. So all these belonging to CDC, common data centers. So here state data center is one of the important constituents of the core infrastructure for supporting e-governance. Okay, e-governance infrastructure contains SDC, state data centers. Then after that state WAN. State WAN means state wide area network. The third aspect was common data center. So here actually this state wide area network consists of backbone. Actually this is the backbone of e-governance. Okay, backbone. SWAN is the backbone of e-governance. It connects Trivandrum, then Kochi, then Kozhikode. This is the backbone of e-governance. So it connects Trivandrum, Kochi and Kozhikode as hubs. Okay, what does mean by hub? Hub is used for interconnecting. Actually it is a device for connecting different computers. Same concept, instead of computer it is connecting 14 districts linking each of the 152 block panchayat. Okay, so which are the hubs? Trivandrum, Kochi and Kozhikode. Using SWAN, it is connected these three places as hubs, and through this it can connect 14 districts with 152 block panchayat. So all these are interconnected to form a wide area network, but there will be some difference. Instead of wide area network, here it is SWAN, state wide area network. The infrastructure support the integration of large number of government to government and government to citizen services with the application service. So the state data center contains data. Using state WAN or SWAN, we can interconnect Trivandrum, Kochi and also Kozhikode as hub, and also all the block panchayat along with the 14 district. Then next one is common data center or CDC. Common data centers means all the common applications like agricultural, then health services, rural banking, entertainment services, commercial services. All these services will be available in common data centers. Actually these are front end delivery. So this is the back end state data center. Backbone is SWAN. Backbone is SWAN means using common data centers we are interacting with SDC. For interacting SDC we require a communication medium. That communication medium is SWAN. Okay, and already it places different types of hubs in different places. Trivandrum, Kochi and also Kozhikode. Okay, so using CDC we can, actually CDC is known as front end. Then it helps in utility payments such as electricity, telephone and water bill submission of online application and generating and distributing the certificates to the needy. Other services could be offered through CSCR. Common service centers are agricultural services, then education and training services, health services, rural banking, then entertainment services and commercial services. All these are belonging to common data center. Then example for common data center is Akshaya centers. Nowadays Akshaya centers are very famous. All are going to Akshaya center for your for example +1 in application, single window admission. For all that means government related issue, we can go to Akshaya center. Then actually it is launched in 2002 in Malappuram district. The first Akshaya Center were launched in the year 2002 in Malappuram district. Then its intention was to that means the intention of Akshaya Center is to increase the e-literacy, electronic literacy. Okay, instead of normal certificates or instead of normal procedure, it is converted into e-literacy management. Then ICT project information. Akshaya was conceived as a landmark in ICT project. This also and one of the ICT, important ICT project that is called Akshaya Center. Then e-filling, e-district, e-ticketing. That means suppose you want to apply for a certificate or you want to apply for a course, for all that means any connection with e-literacy we can contact to Akshaya Centers. Okay, like income tax certificate, then income certificate, then community certificate. All these certificates we are getting through Akshaya Centers. Okay, so this is one of the commonly used project of ICT. Okay, so this is the infrastructure of ICT. The different terms that we are connecting in ICT are state data centers, then SWAN, state wide area network, and last one is common data centers. So these are the infrastructure along with Akshaya Centers. Then next we are going to discuss the advantages and disadvantages. Okay, advantages of benefits of e-governance. Benefits of e-governance. Benefits of e-governance. The first benefit is it strengthens the democracy. The first advantage of e-governance is it strengthens the democracy because it increases using e-governance, the e-literacy level is increasing. Then the second one, governance lead to an automation of government services. That means we already mentioned G2G service, government to government. So we can easily interact with the government, it will automatically reduce the cost. Then third advantage is it ensure more transparency in the functioning, thus eliminate corruption. Okay, third advantage or third challenge of e-governance is that it ensure more transparency. That's why we can avoid corruption. Then it makes every government department responsible as they know they are closely observed because all is connected to internet. So it can every department is responsible, or if we are requesting for a particular certificate from any of the department, they are observed. That means closely observed by the particular users. Then proper implementation of e-governance save unnecessary visit to public offices. That is the main advantage of e-governance. It can avoid the unnecessary visit of government offices. Then the challenges. These all are the advantages and challenges also will be there. Challenges means using e-governance we are increasing the e-literacy, but in some of the rural area if they are not having any kinds of e-literacy then they can't use e-governance service. That means they are unaware of e-governance services. That is the first challenge. The existing digital divide is an obstacle in utilizing the service of e-governance. Those who live in remote areas with lower e-literacy will face difficulty to access the services of e-governance. Those who are living in remote areas with low e-literacy, they can't use this kind of services. Then these all are computer and web based, so the security measurement will be very high, otherwise there will be chance of hacking your personal information. Then third challenge is some of the users, they are not ready to share their personal information like your Aadhaar card number, they are not ready for that. So that also a challenge of e-governance. Many people are anxious about the sharing of their personal information biometry. So the agency is designed for data collection. They are not ready to share their personal information. Then integrity of various departments is very much essential for the efficiency and effectiveness. That means all the services want to work together, then only it will lead to a successful transition. Then next one, Another challenge is huge initial investment is required for implementing this kind of e-governance services. That also a challenge of e-governance. Okay, some advantages are same time disadvantages also present. In your textbook, some of the example e-governance websites are available. The first one is www.dhsekerala.gov.in. Actually, this is a website for higher secondary education. Official sites for Department of Higher Secondary. Then district.kerala.gov.in, government services to the public. Then incometaxindia.gov.in, income tax services. Then Kerala MVD.gov, that means motor vehicle, Kerala MVD. Then RTI, Right to Information Act. Then IT Mission, IT at School. Then Spark. Spark means government services. Employee, then their details, everything you want to include in Spark. So that is payroll management, employee management. So these are the commonly used e-governance website. Okay, so hope you understood e-governance, importance of e-governance and what are the services used in e-governance. So again we will revise the topics that we studied. Our first topic was e-governance, ICT and society. Okay, then the different services that we are using in different types of services, e-governance. Then the advantages of e-governance. Advantages of e-governance, the different services of e-governance, government to government, government to employee, government to citizen and government to government. These all are the different services. And also we discussed the infrastructure of e-governance, infrastructure, then SDC, SWAN and also common data centers. Then after that we discussed about the challenges and the different challenges and the different aspects, challenges and also the benefits of e-governance. Then the next ICT services that we will discuss in the next video, and also you want to write some question in your notebook that is relating to e-governance, benefits of e-governance and what are the different duties of Akshaya Center, or for what we are using Akshaya Center. Okay, hope you understood. The remaining section we will discuss in the next video. Okay, then thank you.